let's break down this fucking trailer. Let's do this. So, listen, I kind of wanted to start this out a little bit different. We have had more time to sit and really watch the Halloween Ends trailer because we were super, super excited the other night when it dropped early. I admit to you, I only watched it on.
We did a show.
Yeah, or I think you do remember that.
I don't remember.
Oh shit! Well, we were super
kidding.
Excited,
I'm kidding.
He's just joking. We were super excited, super pumped for it, and I admit I only watched it on my phone at first. You know, the couple times that I did watch it before we jumped to do the video, and I didn't really watch it to dissect it. I just watched it just to watch it.
Those were our immediate responses to what we just watched. Like one time, I saw it one time, maybe twice. I don't remember. And so it was like we didn't have a chance to dig through the gritty details of it and really examine it. We didn't have that.
But with that said, though, after watching it several more times, pulling it up on the TV and watching it on there, and really, really watching for every little bit that I could pull from it, I now have a lot of things that I want to talk about with you. And I know you got the same concerns too. And there's some issues here. Before we jump into that, I got to give a shout out.
A lot of different things.
I got to give a shout out to the AGT guys because, dude, their video that they were talking about us when they said we were Michael Cole and Taz, I completely fucking lost it. Like that was hilarious, dude. That was funny as shit.
You get the Taz thing all the time.
Dude, you know what's funny about that real quick? It kind of, I don't know, I'm just kind of going off on a tangent for a second, but it's so funny to me how many people actually know who Taz is. Now, I'm not saying that he's not well known, but for the majority of his career, he was ECW.
Yeah.
And ECW, for me, I didn't start watching it until late 97. Like almost, I was out of school and shit. And I just found it. So, yeah, he went on the WWE and he did a few things, you know, there for years, and now he's with AEW and stuff. But it doesn't matter where I go. I could be at the gym. I could be at the grocery store. I had it happen to me at Walmart one day. This is one of my favorite ones. I was in Walmart one night, and this weird ass dude come up and he tapped me on the shoulder, and he goes, "Do you know who you look like?" I said, "I can guess." And he goes, "You look like Taz. And you want to know how I know that? The Undertaker's my uncle." I said, okay.
The Undertaker's my uncle.
Yeah. So I get it all the time. And to me, it's just funny. So anytime anybody says, "Hey, you know who you look like?" Yeah, I know. I got it.
Why would you need the Undertaker to be your uncle to know what Taz looked like? Like, don't you need eyeballs and a TV?
Maybe his Uncle Taker called him up and said, "Hey, there's a guy in Youngstown that looks like Taz. If you ever see him, tell him I know. Tell him I know."
Rest in peace.
Right, yeah. Tell him I said rest in peace. Good to see you. You know, but and just to kind of go off that, since we're kind of talking the wrestling thing, I sent this to you because and it was funny. It was like a sign that I have to post this with this video today. It came up in my Facebook memories from 2012, from the HPW show that we did for Marcus. Remember that?
That explains why I look a lot smaller than I do now.
Well, so do I. Shit. But that is a picture of us from 2012 at HBW, and I thought that was kind of cool. And it was like a sign that I had to post it for today's show. So I wanted to get that out of the way and thank you guys. That was funny as shit.
It was. Everybody check out ATG NAT podcast because they really plugged us and gave us. I mean, those guys, they're entertaining as hell. They really are, and they had me rolling and. The wrestling stuff, I feel like within the next couple of weeks, we need to sit down and just like talk about it because I think everybody now wants to know. I think we have enough obvious wrestling fans that kind of watch our stuff to where to where it's worth doing a video. So we will. You know what the fun
part about that is too, though, man, for both of us too. Wrestling had led us to doing like films and stuff too. So there's a lot of stuff we could tie in with the horror community too. So. Yeah.
I mean,
fun, you know?
I met you in person at a wrestling show, and you know, I mean, that's how our friendship began. And
Yes, sir.
we didn't know anything about each other. Who knew? Like, I didn't know that you were a horror fanatic until I saw your tattoos.
Right.
You know, there was no way to know that I was. So, you know, but I mean, way before we did any of this, you know.
Yeah, that's very true.
So
that's how the horror guys was born, folks.
It was, and a sweaty, swanky.
Yes.
I don't know. Swanky is probably not the right word. He's definitely not swanky. Sweltering locker room somewhere, God only knows where. Who knows at this point in time? You know, about the size of a closet.
Right. That's pretty much the size of most of them.
Yeah, you know how you know we're good friends because we've spent so many hours in the car together and we don't hate each other.
That's true too.
And that's how you know that we're real friends.
Many a trips to Barberton, Ohio on Tuesday nights.
Barberton, West Virginia Doink. We went down there.
Oh, God. Good God.
Although I think we drove separate that day.
Well, you know what? And there's another story about the Taz thing too, because here we go. We just for fun. Because we're on a tangent now. We might as well. We walk into this show in I don't even know what part of West Virginia. We were just there. It was
at some like Elks Club or something. I don't even know what it was.
Yeah.
It was like at I don't know. Whatever. Well, it doesn't matter.
We walk into the show and I happened to kind of walk in and there was a guy in the ring who I had no clue who he was. And he was working out with another kid who I'm not going to mention because that kid's fucking garbage now. We'll talk about that off video.
Yeah, because I'm wondering.
Oh, I'll tell you about it. So long story short, I hear this man because he doesn't whisper very quiet. He looks over at the kid and he goes, "Why is Taz here?" He gets out of the ring.
Do we have West Virginia Undertaker at that show too to let him know that it was Taz? Was he West Virginia Undertaker?
Probably. Yeah, probably. So this asshole gets out of the ring and he goes, "Man, you look like Pete." And I was like, "Yeah, I know his real name, dude." And he was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, you know, I'm the real Doink." And I was like, "You're not, but okay."
Doink, yeah.
And he goes, "Well, you want to know how I'm the real Doink?" I said, "I would love for you to tell me." And he says,
"I remember this."
He goes, "Look at my tights, man. I got the purple in them. That's the original Doink colors." I was like, "Right."
Yeah, you're not bad born, dude. You're not bad born.
Right. For those who don't know, Doink the Clown was originally Matt Bourne, who had passed away about 3 or 4 years ago now. And the second incarnation of Doink was Skinner, the old wrestler from like the early 90s. Those were your two main Doinks, and then of course it went into other people. But this guy was thinking that we were stupid enough to really believe that he was Doink the Clown because of some tights colors.
Purple tights. As if I couldn't buy have purple tights made.
Well, then that's like me saying I'm really Taz because I wear a fucking orange shirt. No,
right.
That's not how that works. But okay. I take the compliment highly because Taz was actually one of my favorites watching back in the day. So
the best part about that whole thing is like, you know, like one of the things like when you wrestle on the independent scene, like, you know, you hope to get paid when you show up because there's expenses to get there and you got to eat that night and whatever. Right. I don't know if like we came in a group, they brought us all in as a group. And I don't know if they only paid some of us or didn't pay any of us.
They sent out for that show, the guy sent out checks and we didn't think he was going to do it.
I never got one. See, that's the thing. But okay, so you guys go, maybe I got it and thought it was junk mail and threw it away because I got a text message.
It had a stamp on it. It was Doink. You were like,
no,
I'm not opening that. Throw it away.
It's probably bounced. I'm not gonna. This is a rubber check. Well, no, he. I remember he like messaged me and was like, "What's your address?" And I'm like,
"Yeah, I got the same thing."
And he's like, "Well, I want to send you a check." I'm like, "Well, how much was it for?"
Oh shit! I honestly, that's so much, dude. That was 2000.
Like, are you gonna send me like a $10 check in the mail?
Well, I'm terrible at math. That was my 17th year in the business. I'm now at almost 26. So how long ago was that?
That was a while ago. It was a while.
Almost.
Ago.
We're talking.
Oh, we're over 10 years.
9 years.
Yeah. I think we're at 10 years by now. Maybe 11.
So I mean, you figure that shit, dude.
Maybe I got a check. I don't remember.
I know Tripp got one. He got one in the mail.
All right. So now I kind of feel bad just assuming that the guy was just because I remember I'm like, listen, I've been stiffed by promoters before, and usually like you don't like. I've never had one double down and like message me and tell me, "Oh man, I'm gonna send you a check." Like I never had that happen before.
Right, right. Well, we're definitely have to get into the wrestling one because it's
Yeah,
going to be a fun one.
yeah, and that's nothing. That's nothing. We could go on forever.
That's tip of the
It's
iceberg.
like
That's just
that's like
reminiscing about
that's
sports.
like a 3-part episode right there.
And it probably will be, honestly.
Yeah.
So before we jump into these crazy things that we pulled out of this trailer, how about we go with the official? And I'm going to try to say this word right. Synopsis. Did I say it right?
You did that.
I think I did.
Yeah.
All right. Now this was released, I guess, by Blumhouse. I don't know. This is what I'm hearing.
I've seen this in multiple places. I think this is legit.
Right.
If we're wrong, let us know, please. We'll probably find out right when we're done here. There'll be a different.
Absolutely. So 4 years after the events of last year's Halloween Kills, Laurie is living with her granddaughter Allison and is finishing writing her memoir. That's very interesting, actually. Michael Myers hasn't been seen since Laurie, after allowing the specter of Michael to determine and drive her reality for decades, has decided to liberate herself from fear and rage and embrace life. When a young man, Corey Cunningham, which I just want to say, they're always talking about this Christine thing, right?
Yeah.
What I thought was really funny is his last name is the same as Arnie's in Christine Cunningham.
Yeah.
So it says he's accused of killing a boy he was babysitting. It strikes a cascade of, and let me turn the page, sorry, violence and terror that will force Laurie to finally confront the evil she can't control once and for all. Okay, that synopsis gives us very much a lead in for all the things that are being thought of, said, what have you, and whatever. Let's break down this fucking trailer. Let's do this. All right. First and foremost, the biggest thing that I took away from this, and I sent it to you after I had a chance to really, really watch it. There is a scene when Michael is creeping up the steps. He then pushes the door open, and when he pushes the door open, he does it
with his left hand.
The same hand that I'm using right now, that he's only supposed to have these couple fingers. He has a full 5 fingers, and he pushes the door open. Yep. That is not Michael Myers.
And his hand is very clean.
Very clean.
And now they said that. Now I might be getting crazy here with this, but they said, I know that they said that I had heard somewhere that they said that only one mask was used in the movie, but the damn mask for a minute in that movie looked like a clean ass brand new Michael Myers mask.
If you look at that mask, that in that scene right there,
that's what I'm talking about.
From what I can gather, there's just that slit from when he got shot in the side. But it looks super, super clean, though. Even in the dark like that, it looks super clean.
So, okay.
As opposed to the mask you see later,
that's all
when it's real Michael. Right. So, all right. The other thing that you pointed out to me, too, was there is a scene where a knife is going through what it looks to be like a pillow, and there's feathers flying everywhere, it looks like.
Yeah.
And there's a ring on the finger that is stabbing through this pillow.
Yeah. On the pinky, which is because apparently
that's very interesting.
Because Michael Myers does not wear a ring on his pinky.
Unless he got married in the 4 years he's been away. I don't know. Maybe he found a nice wife. I don't know.
Maybe him and Hawkins got married and it wasn't.
I mean, you know. So I talked to you and I said, listen, man, maybe
Halloween, a new beginning.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I started thinking, and I was like, okay, you keep hearing about this Corey character. Now, you heard that he's going to have this romance with Allison. You heard that he's apparently going to be a copycat Michael Myers. So let's dive into it. As much as we don't want to, maybe we got to. My thought was maybe this dude is in this Glass Hill place that they keep talking about. And maybe that's where this Dr. Mathis comes in. So if this kid is accused of killing a kid that he was babysitting, very reminiscent to Michael Myers type of thing almost. Maybe while he's in there or even before that, he becomes obsessed with Michael Myers. And this is why he does this. So when he's out of there, maybe he does start this relationship with Allison, but he does that to get close to Laurie because he wants to emulate Michael Myers.
I got another one for you. Go ahead, finish.
The fact that people say again that he may be the one that's getting choked down there in the sewer, there's a couple of theories that I have that people have talked about and stuff. My thing is though, if you go down in that sewer and you find Michael, he ain't letting you leave that sewer.
He don't give a shit who you are.
No,
or why
there's got to be some type of something there.
Can I give you real quick an
Yeah.
alternative possibility?
Okay.
What if this dude's actually some sort of relative to Michael, and that's why he kind of infiltrates Lori's life by getting involved with Allison?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, of course, Michael would have nothing to do with this because Michael, as we've established, doesn't give a shit about Lori. But oh man, sorry. But it's like there's no earthquake happening here. But
I thought it was shit.
But like everything surrounding Lori, obviously, you know, her and Michael Myers, you know, just the
something
I had.
Something there leads Michael to Lori because obviously when they show that fight at the end, that's Michael. We know that's Michael.
Yeah.
Well, look, there's even
and again, there always has to be that like in this series, they always
find a way to get those
exactly.
Yeah.
In the first movie, it was Sartain, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So
you know, for me, I think you know, man, and it also made me think about this too. Maybe it made me think that maybe we were right about the whole. Maybe she does leave that hospital and go immediately into a fight with Michael Myers. Maybe that happens. And maybe she thinks she kills him. And maybe that's why he disappears for 4 years. And maybe that's why we have a time jump of 4 years. Anything's possible at this point. A lot of these theories, really, you hear them now and you read them and it's like, they're really not that far-fetched. Because we really don't know. Yeah, everybody says there's a ton of clues in the trailer.
Yeah.
No.
Well, we're filtering. We're filtering out and starting to realize what's definitely not going to happen now.
Right.
It's definitely not going to be a tie-in with Halloween 3.
No. At this point, no. Unless this is Colonel Cochran's long-lost grandson, then I don't know.
It's definitely not going to be the evil transferring into Allison.
No.
And you know, but there's still a lot.
I do see the Christine mythology type thing here, though, and not just because his last name's Cunningham. That's just a
well, he's doing Michael's bidding for him in a way. He's keeping okay. If somebody shows up wearing that mask and wearing coveralls, and it's possible that somehow he goes into the sewer and attacks Michael and makes off with somehow escapes with his mask.
Shit. Well, I mean, he's gonna bite the big one there later, though.
Oh, there's no doubt he's going. There's no doubt he's going to.
Oh yeah, he's definitely gonna have.
Which almost makes like does Michael by default become like some sort of a hero by coming back? But I mean, of course, ultimately he's not going to be a hero. Let's be honest.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what. Maybe he will save Lori from fake Michael, and then he fucks her up.
Could be. Or knowing him, he could just turn around and leave her to be and walk away.
Right.
What if that's how they end? What if that's how they end it? Michael he's done. God. I quit. I killed this fake Michael Myers. Got my shit back. I'm leaving again.
Right.
And they're like, well, as long as he doesn't come back, who cares?
He'll look at her. He'll be like, dude. He'll stop. He'll turn around. He'll look at her. He'll be like, sister. That'd be cool. That's the only word.
That'll be the word that he says. Oh God.
Yeah. No,
that
you know what though? But then that made me think of something too, because you watch that again. You watch that scene where he opens the door, and even in the picture, you could tell the height difference is off.
Yeah. And
James Jude Courtney is a big motherfucker.
Yeah. He's cleaner. And he's got nice coveralls, like he just stole them from another hardware store.
Yeah. Well, it's his drugstore,
Right. Drugstore, not a hardware store.
Right. But then you figure, all right, you watch later, and when she's standing in that little doorway, which is very reminiscent of 78 when he comes through the dark shadow. Remember that? When she's standing on the steps or by the steps and she's crying, and then his face just like appears in the dark like that.
Yeah.
So that scene from 2022 is very reminiscent of that.
Yeah.
That is Michael Myers. You can tell the difference. That's Michael Myers.
There are scenes. Well, I mean, and then there's a scene where it's obviously Michael's hand. It's dirty. It's nasty. It's got the three fingers, and when the knife goes in, that's Michael's hand.
Yeah.
That's actually Michael. So we know Michael comes back.
I mean, unless this dude cut off his fucking fingers too. I mean, if he's doing a character study,
Yeah.
Who knows? You never know. But I that's definitely Michael Myers.
Yeah.
So this thing here says, did Halloween Ends borrow a plot from H2O? And I think you'll find this interesting, and I think everybody else will too. And I'm reading words that are someone else's, so just kind of bear with me here. The part that sparked interest here is the plot thread around Corey Cunningham. Could he be a copycat killer who brings Michael out of hiding? From the trailer, it looks like Myers has been sleeping rough in the sewers of Haddonfield, so he must smell delightful. I don't think Michael's ever smelled good though. Like,
dude, when's the last time Michael Myers has had a shower? He probably had a few when he was reincarcerated. But at this point in time, he definitely didn't shower.
No,
for a good 48 hours in 1978. He probably smelled pretty right by the time him and Lori got into it. And then,
I mean, if he's hanging out in the sewers now, he's
rolling around now. Yeah, and I don't think he cares.
No. So now this is where it gets into the whole thing about H2O. The link to Halloween H2O is the fact that one of the film's original incarnations had Charlie had been the main killer of the film before the shape returns to close out the film. Could we see something similar to Halloween Ends? It's a balancing act, but if David Gordon Green pulls this off, anyone can be under the mask type of motive. It certainly opens up possibilities for future Halloween series beyond this trilogy. So
Michael Myers is back.
Interesting. Yeah.
Lori kills him at the end, only to find out that it's not him. It's Corey, and then Michael shows up at the end.
Yeah, I feel like this Corey kid, if he is the center of this whole like bit of attention here, he's obviously going to die. He's obviously going to die a lot quicker than, and I think that'll throw her off too if she kills him.
He's the reason Michael comes back.
And it's quite, yeah. I mean, let's.
He goes down into that sewer and fucks with him.
So Corey starts.
Michael just wanted to hang out with the rest of the turds in the sewer.
Right. So here's the thing, Michael's chilling in the sewer, right? Kind of like how he was in Resurrection. He was under the house, right? We talked about that. So then, Corey's out here killing people, and just so have it makes the front paper. And one of those kind of like hits the rain
into the,
and it goes right into the sewer, right? And Michael's looking at that bitch and he tilts his head. He goes, "I'm gonna fuck this dude up." And there he comes, like I don't know, dude. I don't know. Anyway, the dude finishes up saying that there were a couple of shots in the trailer that got me thinking it wasn't the shape behind the mask and could potentially be Corey. I guess we'll find out October 14th. We're all going to find out that day. Just like, well, some people are going to go see it on the 13th, but still, we're all going to find out together what it really is going on here.
What's our schedule going to look like? Like, what are we going to do?
I mean, for me, the 14th is my birthday, so I'm probably going to go see it then.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, I plan on going to see it on the 15th too.
Yeah.
I mean, how are you going to wait a day?
It's going to be tough, but I have to. I got to wait and go on my birthday, dude. That's like the ultimate birthday present.
Yeah. Well, I mean, no, the 14th. Wait, the 14th is your birthday, you said?
Yeah.
That's when it comes out. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know how they'll do some people do that. Those screenings on the 13th, though.
Oh no! Yeah. I can't stay awake that late because those are usually at like midnight.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes. Did you notice, real quick, the pumpkin that is in the background when she's got the gun?
Love that, by the way. Love that.
Is reminiscent of the pumpkin from '78 that she's carrying. That she carves for the kids.
And the way she's dressed with the.
Oh, dude, I absolutely love that. We had talked about that. That was the biggest takeaway that I got from watching the trailer that night and not dissecting. Like I said, that was the biggest takeaway I took away from that was I love that she's dressed as 78 Lori.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it.